Congressman Barr, thank you for coming and appreciate your time today. We're here in your office, catching up with you on the campaign trail. You recently announced a bid for Senate, I heard, and I wanted to ask you a little bit about that. Why Senate? Making the change over from your current seat.
Well, Jesse, it's great to be with you, and thanks for your service as commissioner of Boone County and your entrepreneurial success. It's great to be with you. So I'm eighth generation Kentuckian, born and raised in Lexington, Kentucky, central Kentucky. And it's been a privilege of a lifetime to represent the families and the businesses and the hardworking people of central Kentucky in the U.S. House of Representatives these last number of years. And as I contemplated my future, I really thought about the impact, the enlarged impact that I could have representing the entirety of the Commonwealth, including northern Kentucky, which is a dynamic economic engine for the Commonwealth. And it would be even a greater privilege to get a chance to represent all of Kentucky, including northern Kentucky. So there's no other reason to run for public office than want to make a difference. I want to continue making a positive impact for the Commonwealth.
Well, I represent one county, and you're going to represent 120 counties. So I hats off to you. That's a lot of work there. I am a commissioner in Boone County, and we are a large, growing county. And you know the joke, Northern Kentucky is kind of like those guys up there. At least that's a lot of the rest of the state feels. And I know you don't have that sentiment because you spend a lot of time in our area. Once you're elected, what kind of access will you have with Northern Kentucky Interaction? Do you think you foresee having, and how close will you be to our issues?
Well, you think of my hometown, Lexington, it's about 330,000 people. If you add all of the population of Boone, Kenton, and Campbell together, and you look at the jobs, ranging from CBG, all the logistics, Amazon, DHL, all of the services that are in northern Kentucky and Kenton County, the jobs, the economic activity, the potential of what is there, the entertainment on the riverfront, on the waterfront there, the tourism. I was at one NKY and looking at the synergy that's being generated there with putting all of that, the chamber, the economic development, the tourism, all under one roof. This is an economic juggernaut of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and I've got certainly a lot to learn, but it doesn't take long to figure out that this is really the future of economic vitality of our entire Commonwealth. So it would be an enormous responsibility to represent northern Kentucky, and I've got some ideas, and I would love to represent northern Kentucky.
That's great. And I know you came into office in 2013 on the financial crisis that we've all studied and learned about, and you've seen a lot of changes, and you've been involved in a couple of different presidential administrations. What are a couple of things in your congressional career that stick out as like, yeah, we did that?
Well, if for your viewers who don't know who I am and who I'm about, well, I was born in 1973. I was raised in the era of Ronald Reagan. Okay. So I'm a Reagan conservative. I believe in limited government, free enterprise, capitalism, and a strong national defense. I believe in peace through strength.
You're tugging at my heartstrings here.
You got it. And that's why I'm an America First Republican as well. That's why I support President Donald Trump, because he's restored that peace through strength, and he is unleashing our economy through these tax cuts, the biggest tax cuts in American history, very much on the precedent of what we saw during the Reagan Revolution. The deregulation project is super exciting to me as someone who believes in entrepreneurship, innovation, and free markets. And that's what I've been passionate about my entire term in Congress. I'm a leader on the House Financial Services Committee, so I'm very active in capital markets policy, deregulating our capital markets, making sure that the Securities and Exchange Commission is accountable and transparent. And then I've been for several terms the chairman of the Financial Institutions Subcommittee. So I'm a champion for community banks. I'm a champion for the diversity of our financial system. I believe that we need everything. Competition and choice is what is the hallmark of a healthy capitalist system, where the American dream is alive and well, where the condition of your birth does not determine the outcome of your life. It's about hard work, determination, persistence, staying with it, and working through failure to learn. That's what entrepreneurs and risk takers do. And that's what makes America dynamic and exceptional. It's why this country is the greatest country in the history of the world. It's why Thomas Edison, a great innovator, one of my favorite entrepreneurs and inventors, said that I have never failed. I've only learned 9,999 ways how to not build a light bulb.
One of my favorite quotes about Edison. So.
And just risk taking is part of the American DNA, and I want that. I want to unleash that. I want the animal spirits. That's why I support this president, because he's doing that. He's unleashing the animal spirits, just like Reagan did. And so that's who I'm about. That's what I'll be. I'll be a voice for that dynamic, free economy in the United States Senate, like I've done in the U.S. House. And I'm very proud of the fact. You asked about accomplishments. One of the signature accomplishments of my time has been, rolling back some of those financial regulations that have inhibited free market capitalism, like rolling back part of Dodd-Frank, authoring much of the legislation that we passed in the first Trump term with the president's help. I'm working with Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, Howard Lutnick, Jamieson Greer, Kevin Hassett right now in the cabinet, in the President Trump's administration on economic policy and deregulating our economy. And if you think about it, we've gone through this nightmare of 40-year high inflation because of overspending from Democrats in the Biden administration. Well, why are we getting closer to the Fed's 2% target of price stability? Largely, it's because the private enterprises of this country are anticipating not only the tax cuts, but the deregulation that's lowering the cost of business. Guess what that means? Higher real inflation-adjusted wages and lowering the cost of business, which means lower prices. Energy dominance, financial deregulation, deregulation of our labor markets, less government interference in our lives. That not only gets us to lower prices and lower cost of living and lower inflation and price stability, it gives us growth. And that's the American dream.
I feel like I want to stand up and applaud and say amen. So I appreciate all of that, and that is great to hear it, and we're going to love that.
And you're an entrepreneur. So
I've been called worse.
Let me tell you what, that's what I love. I was in the private sector. I was a lawyer, but I represented small businesses, entrepreneurs, home builders, insurance agencies, horse farms, horse trainers, small manufacturing companies. And typically my cases involved administrative proceedings against bureaucrats. The government was harassing these entrepreneurs, and I fought for them.
And it's all levels of government. It's the federal government, state government, local government. They all want to put my hand in my pocket, and hearing you and wanting to defend that it's music to my ears.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember, this is from our era, the era of Reagan, but a great American named Jack Kemp, who was the author of the Reagan Revolution tax cuts.
Okay.
Jack Kemp, he was our vice presidential nominee in 1996, but he was also the HUD secretary. He was a football player before he was a congressman, and authored those Kemp-Roth tax cuts. That was the real birth of the Reagan Revolution and the Laffer curve and all this. But he said a very important thing. He said that there's no limit to what free men and free women in a free market with free enterprise can achieve when they are free to follow their dream. And I believe that to my core. My parents taught me that. We come from a long line of small business owners, from insurance business to the horse business to a certified public accountant who started a physician management practice group, and then a small lawyer who represented small businesses.
That's great.
And
it gives me chills to think about.
And I just think that's what makes this country great.
Congressman, I appreciate that. And we're going to put all your campaign information here to learn more about Congressman Barr. A lot of us in Northern Kentucky may not have been as much exposure to Congressman Barr as we'd like, but take a chance, get to know him, and I appreciate your time.
Hey, thanks so much. Appreciate it, Commissioner.